Let me see you do it when the bass drop.
All right, hello everybody, and welcome back to yet another match of the Abstraction Cup tournament. We are back for our finals finale of this very weekend. We've got probably one of the most anticipated matches as we reach the end game of this tournament. Seed 1 against Seed 3, T1, Hello Sun Nepogen, against not even close Seed 3 Anorix and Make Home, your Titans of both the United States and the Chilean rosters of the World Cups as well. They are both going to be fighting for their lives to see who's going to be reaching the podium in this tournament in such a high-stakes battle as this. Once again, I'm your host, Epic Man 2. I'm going to be joined by Dynascape this time around. How's it going?
It is going great, Epic Man 2. Excited to be here and excited to see what this matchup will bring us. Of course, T1, Seed 1 find themselves in their losers bracket, but had already won previously in the weekend against Super Duper Speed seed number 6. So now they have another test before them with not even close seed 3. And of course, although there is a bit of a seed disparity, not even close being the bottom seed, it does help that they do have a little bit of info from T1's previous match, whereas not even close's scores are a mystery to T1. So we'll see how this protect and ban phase goes. Do you have any suggestions, Epic Man 2?
I feel like at this point, it's really just difficult to be able to really consolidate a proper idea as to what either of these two teams could really try and make a move on, because once again, we do go into the ban and roll phase first into the match, and we see that pretty much every player is coming out of a random session. I mean, Nepogen's going to be coming right out of pretty much just over clearing Yami at this point, literally holding 99.60% on that as well on his POV stream. But from what it looks like, it seems like both teams are going to be going into the rolls with their respective hosts either way. So Hello Sun and Anorix supporting their teammate. Hello Sun's going to be rolling off the deep end, going to be the lowest hanging fruit in the lobby. 19 points. We're going to have to see if Not Even Close is going to try and objectify that.
Yeah, not the best roll from Hello Sun. Probably needed to practice that beforehand, but Not Even Close, of course, gonna have a good chance at getting the choice of whether they want to protect or ban first. And I will say, if I were Not Even Close, I would be looking towards a couple of things based on T1's last match. Foot core is a very good idea. Nepogen had a 992 miss, but I think that the Chileans usually have been absolutely insane when it comes to core jack picks, especially in the later game stages. So that's got to be something that T1 wants to watch out for. And I think some of the rice maps on the bottom half as well could be pretty good. If I'm not mistaken, Nepogen had not the greatest time. Well, T1 banned out Toki against Super Duper Speed. Nepogen did have 9 misses on Rice 1 as well, so that could be something that they go for. I'd imagine that T1 kind of shakes it up and probably tries to pick towards the LNs at first, because Not Even Close seems to be a lot more Rice oriented than their last opponents.
Absolutely. I mean, especially for the fact that we have both these teams on the board. They are practically one of the most versatile teams that we have left to offer in this losers bracket match. Like, the fact that this is one of the final matches that we have that even confirms the podium that we have in whichever order it may go is honestly disconcerting, as T1's going to be opting in for the LN3 Protect, going to finally write off what they couldn't have yesterday. So definitely makes up for an interesting scenario. I would imagine the LN3 is definitely going to be one of those more volatile picks, just because of the raw technicality and control that is practically required in it, as Rice 1 is going to be protected and LN1 will also be banned from the side of Not Even Close. Likely reading off the previous match, they have pretty much gotten information as to how both of these teams have practically performed. So I'm assuming Rice 1 likely getting protected, just going off of the fault stat Nepogen had let out during that one in particular.
Exactly. It might have been an off map, or it might actually be Nepogen's Kryptonite. Either way, Not Even Close sees it as a good pick for later. That is going to be Rice 1. And LN1 is going to be banned Nisamono. They do not want to deal with the timing hell at all. Of course, T1 being very good at just anything when it comes to LN. So it does kind of seem like it's going to be T1's opportunity to pick out most of the LNs first and try to get breakpoints on Rice as Team Blue starts to pick it. And well, we'll just have to see what the first pick is for Not Even Close, as yes, they did protect Rice 1, but I mean, some of these players have been practicing on Korjak recently. I could see Rice 4 being the first pick.
Yeah, it seems like from what it looks like, Not Even Close actually wants to change their mind a little bit, reeling back on the LN1 ban to try and opt in for that LN5 ban instead. So supposedly makes sense on paper. The LN boss, like, especially if you were to put it side by side with Hyo-Ray, for example, that one is literally, those are literally gauntlets after gauntlets. So I'm assuming Not Even Close would probably feel a little more comfortable within the Rice category, or at least if we were to assume that is exactly what Mikolmir is going to be thrown out for if it does come down to Rice 8 being played out. Considering that T1 did manage to go through that map in yesterday's match as well, with Neptune getting quite a tremendous score in it, despite the amount of chokes that we saw bleeding out of it. But then again, like, it's the Rice Ball map. Like, we're literally approaching the end game, and we're getting to the point where literally everyone's going to absolutely start peeing themselves over how insane these maps are just getting. And it's not even the final round of that either. So, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And, well, I kind of like the switch from LN1 to LN5, of course, with LN5 being the boss map. The difficulty is raised a little bit, so maybe that physicality on the LN side is a bit of a pain point for Team Blue. And yes, they are going for Rice 4 as their first pick, with Rice 1 still as a backup. I really like this game plan from Team Blue. It does seem like they are picking the best picks with the available info that they have. And so Footcore is probably going to see Neptune yet again. Antorix going to be in for Not Even Close. We'll have to see if Neptune can top his efforts from yesterday, where he got a 9-2 with 2 misses. Surely Antorix has, the capacity to beat that.
Absolutely. I mean, especially if we're not even close, they pretty much do have some sense of an advantage here, because again, they are pretty much going into this match like a Trojan horse, where because they went out of a forfeit, they didn't have to be pressured into giving up information about their previous performances going into this match alone, in which, if they had faced Vic Team, for example, which was both Geeks and Pin, they definitely would have had like a lot of competition on that one as well. So this makes a lot of sense, and this definitely allows for quite an interesting scenario where Neptune's going to have to pretty much go into this one blind, as it seems like we are going to be having some client issues for the time being as we hit the panic button.
Oh, seems like it was an abort. It was by Antorix. I saw that Bancho miss by Neptune at the start, and I was a bit worried. And then I think there's a Bancho miss on Antorix end. But a little bit of a keyboard issue, not what you want to have, especially before the first match. Gotta reset the nerves. No fail is going to be enforced. And, well, Epic Man, not bit of a shaky start,
Yeah. I mean, honestly, at this point, we're used to it. Like, we've been through, like, 7 of these weekends now. We're pretty much used to the nitty-gritty of, like, having a lot of these, like, aborts happen first thing into a match, because there was just, like, a little smidge of there was, like, a little detail that one player on the board was just missing. One important detail, and that's likely what Antorix was missing. Probably something to do with the keyboard. Maybe could have been keyboard issues. Actually, no, it was keyboard issues. I just saw the left. Okay. Selective viewing, I guess I have.
Yeah, I mean, happens. But map's gonna start back up again. Footcore is the map of choice. 2 minutes and 49 seconds of Korjak. And it's not really about the density, I would say, right? It's more like, yes, the density is like kind of like middle of the pack for a Korjak map, but it really is about the anchors, and Neptune kind of struggling at the start.
Okay, that's a bit of an interesting one, because we've seen from Neptune's performance yesterday, and we pretty much took notice that Neptune didn't really suffer that much in the intro, not finding really any of a rough beginning, as opposed to Antorix, who's basically just reciprocating their ghost trial from yesterday. As at this point, Neptune may as well just be on time trials mode, because we're seeing Anorex just pull off the same story as they were before yesterday in the match. And while this is also pretty much a match where they have no information about this team to begin with, as we go into the first course, Anorex is still holding on to these fans. 6,000 points of the differential that's going to help Anorex breathe for quite a little bit, and that's definitely going to help them solidify what they're going to be needing of this map alone, because this is a 2-minute and 50-second minute length of map of a gauntlet. Okay, my English is actually not Englishing today. I'm so sorry.
It's what happens when the jacks are coming down too fast. I mean, 170 is certainly a speed of all time, but Neptune recovering very well, already back up to a 99.8, hits the anchors. And I will say, those misses at the start were very clean and before the combo cap, unlike Antorex's. So, with these misses evening out, Antorex trying to get back up to the combo cap, I think we'll see a little bit of a shift in the lead here. Maybe it won't go all the way, but it will go just enough for maybe Neptune to make some of a bit, save that deficit just a little bit. The accuracies are pretty close. The combo cap is secured by Antorex, so we do see a 1,000-point lead, but any slip of the wrist and Neptune is there to take it right back.
Absolutely, and especially in a scenario like this is not where you want to be dropping at all, especially on a map that literally challenges your nerve capacity to the absolute minimum. This is definitely the situation where you do not want to be able to miss at all. I mean, we've seen a miss from both players, and another one from Neptune to come out that finally breaks this tie, going to objectify it back to the favorite Anorex, who again lost his accuracy, but because of that extra miss coming out from Neptune, this is going to bring back that cushion that they're definitely going to need. But again, we still have this final section, which is pretty quick at that as well, so there is still a chance that Anorex could miss back, but that's probably going to be it for Neptune from what it looks like, unfortunately.
Yeah, repeated misses, lots of damage taken throughout the map is going to lead to Antorex taking this map, unless they have another keyboard issue, but that won't be the case. A 991 to their name. Unfortunate by Neptune, 5 misses, 3 200s. But hey, at least they had better MA.
Absolutely, especially had it not been for the misjudgments on the side of Neptune, they definitely would have had a really strong chance of being able to take it. Because had it been for V1 double S's from both sides of the screen, it definitely would have gone in the favor of Neptune, which is scary to think about because, first of all, how are you getting sub 140 perfects on this? I mean, we're literally going around above the Major World Cup's difficulty by that, but the first point going to Anorex, it's going to be Ellen Ford against the next pick.
Yeah, firing off a quick pick does seem like it is going to be one of those Rice LN battles. Kyoki Ranbu, Bipolarin. Wonder if there are going to be any switches at all. I'd have to imagine that Neptune is going to stay in. Seems like Antorex will as well.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I would imagine that because both these players are practically all-rounders when it comes to their respective fields, it makes the most sense that they would probably want to try and contest on a pick that's going to be heavily reliant on your consistency alone as a player, because this is pretty much what the pick itself entails. Not only is it the longer pick that's basically outside of the actual Ellen boss pick, but this is also arguably the easiest one, which can definitely serve as a bit of an issue because not only is it easier to play than the other Ellen maps in comparison, but because it's long, it just overall makes the fatigue a lot easier to tax on either side. And that's something that I think works really well as a kind of strategic pick if you were to bring it out in the middle of something. If you need a bit of a breather, if you need to at least try and challenge your opponent for something. But this could definitely throw a lot of players off if either side aren't too careful. We've seen it throughout this weekend alone already as well.
Exactly, and I do have to say that this pick, while being easier to act, is unlike any of the other LN picks from 1 through 3 in the sense that there's a lot more Jack, like LN Jack representation compared to those other maps. And, the form is a little bit different. Usually, in the top half of the LN maps, you get a lot of, funny releases, stuff like that. But this one, you really have to be coordinated just like, as if you were doing a core jack. So that's why I'm a little bit scared for Neptune, even though they do hold a decent lead over Antrix, you know, it can be a little scary. Can be a little scary.
Yeah, decent lead is literally only 100 points or so. This is exactly the caliber of players we're talking about in this tournament alone. The trend we've been seeing since round of 64, and it somehow prevails going into finals. That's precisely almost 2 months later after the whole tournament began. As we go into this next section, this is going to be transitioning into the build-up section, this little brief jump through section with some of these rush notes embedded within the LNs. Both players do not choke, but they are both holding the same accuracy, but Neptune just has the smallest of possible biases in their favor going to the course. There's some of these stream bursts that are introduced as well, but overall, very consistent map, and Neptune still has quite a good lead out of it. And with that miss as well.
Yeah, that's going to be huge. I mean, you said it was a time trial in the last map. I think it is the same with this one. However, the switch has been flipped. Antrix is the one chasing the ghost of Neptune, as that miss is not going to help at all. I think there are a couple of other bad judgments involved. It wasn't the cleanest. And so Neptune ball in their court. Something's going to have to happen to him in order for Antrix to claw back this lead.
Absolutely, and this is okay. Right as you mentioned it, a miss comes out from Neptune, so that's basically going to even things out a little bit, but not entirely enough that Antrix is going to get that end of the stick just yet. It's pretty much been teased onto his side, but it's not nearly enough to be able to bring it over. 2,000 points separates the two still with the bias of Neptune, albeit it's at least a little more comfortable than before. That was more or less a clean miss going off what Antrix had, which was a lot muddier than what would have been desirable, but there's still a good quarter of this map left, so there's definitely a lot that can happen, but this is still like, you know, it's just way too much content, I guess. Yeah,
exactly. There's still a whole minute. That's a lot of notes that you can miss on, and I think that miss slashed Neptune's about 4,000 point lead by half. So like you said, it was clean, and if he does pick up another clean miss, it'd be pretty much tied. But if that miss is dirty, then Antrix is right there to snatch it back up. Neptune actually climbing in accuracy despite that miss, 99.83 compared to Antrix's 99.76. This is the final part. Things can get a little wonky here, and both players are handling it just fine. It's getting pretty dense though.
Yeah, it pretty much amplifies the density, and as you say, that Neptune's going to take an overdrop. It's going really close to the ending. There's still some difficulty left, but at the same time, wait. Oh no.
Oh, there's not enough time.
Oh, wait, just about. Wait, just watch like the final few notes. 426 of a difference. Wow.
That was extremely close. And just even look at the judgments as well, where the MAs were quite similar. The 200 count was quite similar. It's just one big drop compared to 2 repeated drops. And Neptune got to be wiping the sweat off of the forehead right now as they get by basically through the skin of their teeth. And it is now 1-1. It's reset. It's basically a first 6, best of 11 now. Or well, no, best of 13. I can't count.
Rice won.
It's not even close.
Oh my god.
Choice, and yes, Rice won. I mean, we said it, right? This is probably the best pick for Team Blue based on how T1 had played yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah, precisely. Like, we've seen from Neptune's insecurity on this pick alone that it pretty much makes the most sense that we're going to have to see not even close pick into this one, because they want to at least bank on the fact that this map can be really easy to choke, as it seems like we're going to be having Make Colmir come in for this pick. Makes the most sense. Really strong Rice player coming out of the Chilean side. I mean, especially for not even close, they're pretty much just the apprentices of Muka at this point, like being one of the stronger forces that helps support them over in the Chilean World Cup team as well. Neptune going to be on their third map as well, so this is the make or break moment for them if they want to be able to try and break this tie before it gets way too dangerous, because we've seen from yesterday's performances, we've seen the mistakes that had come about on this pick alone, and this is a map that just does not let up for a while with, you know, a lot of these more comfortable sections, but as soon as it gets hard, it really gets hard, and there's just no other way you can autopilot it at all.
Yeah, those vocal sections are very strenuous, and it 100% shows in the map. And like you said, they are quite long too. So as this density picks up, we are gonna see if Neptune is going to miss yet again. Like yesterday, seems like they're holding on just fine though. Michael Mahor a little bit behind, 99.83, so about 1,000-point lead, but both survived that first section with an FC. Neptune just on the lead by a little bit.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, so far it seems like we're getting really clean performances from both sides either way. Neptune gonna be standing at a tremendous 99.90% accuracy for the time being. This is 400 BPM streams that we're talking about. Single streams of that with some pretty dense 1/8 trills as well. Make Colmier not seeming as comfortable on them, but again, it's only really just like some of these really dense parts that you really just need to try and stay dialed in for. But we've literally seen from yesterday, and that Neptune has also shown faults when it came to, the general exhaustion that these patterns just induce on either player. However, unfortunately, it's going to be a trade between the two. Okay, never mind what I was about to say there. Wow, okay.
Yeah, Michael Mahor taking a miss, but Neptune following suit right behind them. And I mean, I feel like a lot of the times the streams can feel pretty staircasey. However, like in the most aggressive parts of the song, that's where you get kind of the one-hand trills and two-hand trills just imbued into the streams. And that's, I think, where Michael Mahor and Neptune had fallen. So this is one of the kind of jack transitions, one of the lighter parts. But I think we do have one more huge part where this lead can turn over very easily.
Absolutely, especially in this next section. This is not a section you can really slouch on either. This can very as well be just very easy to choke on with these jack transitions, with how random they or out of place they may seem with the rest of the map. But it seems like both players just go through without much scathing, as Neptune is going to be building onto that 4,000 plus or lead for the time being, going into the last drop here. Final quarter map. This is where the difficulty is amplified a lot more because of how strenuous these patterns just become. It just does not stop until the very end of the map. It doesn't stop until the playfield disappears. But 6,000 points, Neptune is probably in line to make it out with this one, as if Make Olmir does not manage to at least keep the combo intact. Because we've seen from this insecurities, we've seen from these chokes alone, it's going to be righting the wrongs of yesterday. A miss comes out in the end, but it's not going to be enough. It was too little too late. A 990 choke on Rice 1 to close it off.
Extremely impressive performance from Neptune. You take away those misses and you just like very plainly look at the 300 to perfect count, and that probably on a really clean run from Neptune could become very much like very easily a 996, 997 kind of thing. Michael Mahor just not having the accuracy to back up the play, and well, T1 is gonna go up 2-1. This is, however, the signal that HelloSun does need to get in, and so he is going to be the one playing LN2.
Indeed. So this was also going to be quite interesting because I don't think we've seen this map being played out yesterday, if I'm not wrong. Right?
I think HelloSun actually did play this. They got a 991.8 with 7/200s, but a clean FC.
Oh. Okay, that's probably my dementia kicking in then. My bad.
I mean, the further you get into a tournament as a host, it feels like the crazier you get, the more insane you get. I'm experiencing it firsthand, but yeah, seems like we're still waiting on HelloSun to get back in. Anturx is going to be the one to play this. Just for reference, yes, HelloSun did get almost a 992 against Mnu, who got 986.5 with one miss. But seeing how that first LN map played out against Neptune with Anturx, I do think that the footing is pretty equal between the two. I would have to say that I wouldn't really give a huge advantage to either side.
Absolutely. Like, I think this match alone is definitely one of those scenarios where it's like there isn't really such thing as an objective advantage for either side anymore. Like, we've seen from the bans and that like both teams are actually picking really well into their own respective picks, even while there's been some places which were definitely quite shaky for either side. But that's pretty much the nature of this map pool alone. This is the point where even the best of players overall are going to start struggling, and they're really going to have to try and actually fight for once to actually try and win the tournament, as we have literal champions here fighting against each other. Anurix literally being one of the victors of the Chilean Nationals, and once again facing the champions of the American leagues as well from the World Cup, and also just many other tournaments to name. There's just nothing else you could go wrong with here. Like, it's just insane.
Exactly. Like, when you get to this level of play, there's not much that can phase you. However, for Anthrax, it seems like that pattern did phase him. And, well, you know, we're in the finals now. Both, like, pretty much every player left in this tournament are very decorated, experienced tournament players. They know what to do. They know how to pick. And it seems like, at least for Hello Sun, he knows how to pick against Not Even Close, as this seems to be the right choice despite, you know, not having a crazy accuracy difference. That miss is like giving a lot over to T1. You know, the lead is 5,000 points. We're already over halfway in. And if Hello Sun keeps FCing, the longer he holds this combo, the more of a chokehold he'll have against Team Blue.
Absolutely, and that's the one thing that Team Blue really wants to avoid here, because once again, this is the losers bracket, so literal tournament lives are on the line once again as they're both fighting to see who's going to get into the podium. Anthrax is going to be taking their second drop, however, so not only that's going to only objectify the scoreline in the advantage of Hello Sun going into this next inverse section. This is 240 BPM density we're talking about. This is pretty much if you took last week's density map, but pushed it up 20 BPM higher and just made it a lot more denser and a lot more short. That's literally the poison that's going to strike him as Hello Sun comes in with a tremendous 991k score to make things count.
Yeah, it's essentially a duplicate from his last match where he got around the same thing, same number 200s as well. Antrix, again, like pretty close in terms of 300s as well as 200s, but just not there when it comes to the bad judgments and misses. So unfortunately for Antrix, the Achilles heel is going to strike again, giving over T1 a third point, but they can make it up. They do have their pick up next to bat, and if I were them, you know, I would say that they've already exhausted their best two maps from like a very objective standpoint, but now is where you start to like reach deep inside and kind of test out what you want to do for the rest of the set. Like, do you want to go on the bottom half of the rice pool? Maybe you want to try to fight them and have an accuracy battle on one of the jump streams. I'm not too sure.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like one option they could probably go for if they are to stick within the Rice category would probably have to be, okay, I was about to say they could choose Rice 6, but it seems like going for it anyways makes sense considering that it's pretty much almost the same as Rice 5, albeit just more dump oriented. Like, this map's just incredibly hard to describe. Like, it's like one of those maps where
the song is hard to describe, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, the song is like hard to describe. It's like not really something I listen to like on a daily basis, but the map itself is like, it feels like for this one, like fully respectively, of course, that it's made for the map than the actual song itself, where the song itself pretty much already has like the density intact, so it's not really about the instrumentation anymore, but more about like what it actually invokes in you, which is suffering, as you can hear from someone that's going for the femur breaker in the background here, I guess. Like,
yeah, I totally get what you mean. Like, it just like looking at how weirdly snapped some of these dumps are, and then like the amount of curveballs that this map throws at you that aren't dumps. Like, there's some weird long jack sections, there's some really fast jacks that you have to hit in transition. I totally get it. Like, this map is a test of a lot of different things, but as long as you can keep the 200 to a minimum and FC through it, I think, that would be a good score. Just setting an FC is great. Keeping your 200s as little as possible on a map like this would be outstanding.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I think from what I've gathered is that this has been a fairly common pick. We've actually seen this in every match we've had this weekend, where when it came to each time it was played, it was pretty much the most volatile one, because everyone was literally dying the minute they got into the main meat of the course here. Garbage disposal is a map you do not mess with. This is quite literally the police that literally busts you open. Like, it's genuinely such a difficult map to be able to act well that at this point, it's not even about the accuracy, but how well you can even stay alive on this one, because we've literally seen that with its 82-second length run time. It's literally so difficult that it's really just about who survives. And each time we've seen a point objective just become so big, it's literally just because these players survive off physicality alone.
Yeah, we didn't see an FC on this map yesterday. Maybe that'll change today as both players flying through it. It's not a long map by any stretch of the imagination. We're already halfway through. And of course, you can see how dense those streams can get and how weird those jacks can be. And Hellosun coming out with quite the lead right now, 99.83 compared to Michael Mahor's 99.6. A lot of bad judgments coming out on the side of Team Blue, but nothing that can't be fixed by a large drop in accuracy from the side of Hellosun.
Yeah, that's going to be quite detrimental, as this is literally one of the short maps we have in this map pool as well. Now the score advantage comes away from Maycolmir. It's back in the middle and going back into Hellosun, who takes the miss, but it's another miss that comes right after that as well as we go into the final few seconds. Oh my god. Okay.
That... What a jump scare of an ending that was, from starting off with Hellosun's miss and then shortly after getting Michael Mahor's trade and then further misses at the very end. Again, this is, although the score difference was quite large, it was close for a large part of this map. Essentially, until the last 200 maps, it was, or 200 notes, you couldn't really tell who was going to come out with it, right? And so yeah. T1 yet again kind of scathed by with another pick.
Exactly. That map definitely could have gone in the favor of not even close. If maybe it could have just come down to just being able to FC the map. Not even close was literally so close to being able to FC that map alone. That I think had it been for an FC on this, they definitely could have taken it. Albeit, I think it was just the physicality that gave out in the end because of how rough these patterns are to play the whole way through, as we're going to be not even wasting any time here either. We're going straight for LN1. T1 striking right for the throat of not even close, right where they want it. They have 2 points to be able to make it to match point right now, but Anorix and Maycolmir still have yet to win another point to be able to keep themselves afloat in this match for maybe a little longer. And this is going to have to be one of the more important picks that they're going to have to get. They're basically forced to get some break points off the board because they've already got some points broken from them from the side of T1. So this is... I'm scared. I have no idea how to feel anymore.
Yeah, I mean, if I were Team Blue, I would be quite scared with this pick. A little bit of a lower drop, but I did meet up with Neptune last week. It was kind of close to me, and we were kind of talking about how this last week where he had fallen in winner's bracket had turned out for him, and he was talking to me about how motivated he was to come back this week refreshed, ready to really grind out these scores and practice really hard in order to make it to grand finals. And one of the maps we talked about was Nisemono, and he was very excited to play this map in match. and suggested that he would probably get something like a 10-1 on this map, so like a 99.85, which is what he's getting right now. And I said he could definitely push it even further and try to get something like an 11-1, try to get close to a 996. So that's going to be the bar that I set for him as someone that had talked with him. Antorex is going to take that first miss. I think Neptune did take a 200, so not an even trade by any means, but T1 going to be out on top for this as it stands.
Yeah, if anything, this trade is only going to be a little slightly more biased just because Nepogen is the one that didn't even manage to flinch as hard as Anorix did. But yeah, that alone is honestly quite a really interesting story just because, like, I think this is definitely, like, one of the things that I think I would have normally encouraged with these kinds of map pools anyways, where it's like, I just kind of, like, pretty much just ball with a lot of these picks and then also throw in some iconic maps here and there, not even giving a damn about how well-known they are at that point, because literally everyone and their moms literally know this had they played in, like, what, soft 6 or something. And then, I don't know, Rise Free is also a soft free reuse, albeit upgrade, so things are genuinely super difficult with this map pool. But at the same time, Anorix has missed so many times that Neptune has a safety cushion, but they also bring back and miss their own to the table going into this next BPM change.
Yeah, so I think Mrs. R pretty much even, right? Well, not anymore. Antorex missing yet again, so pretty big trade over for T1. And that lead is going to climb quite high, about 8,000 points, and still going up as well, considering the accuracy discrepancy. It seems like Neptune is starting to run away with this. There is, a decent amount of time. There's about a minute left in the chart. But when Neptune is absolutely killing this map in terms of accuracy, you kind of have to hope for another disastrous miss.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I think we're pretty much at a point where Nepogen is pretty much at the most confident he's been in a while. And now going into this turn after like some brief retirement to focus on studies and everything, he's literally back ready to rock and roll. And we're literally seeing that with this map alone, where we're pretty much seeing proof that he's trying to get that insane score that he was really trying to really push for. The ambition that they were really aiming for, as Anorix is pretty much fallen down. There's no going back from losing on this pick alone, because now it's pretty much too far of a point to be able to catch at the very end. 18,000 points, pushing nearly 20,000. You have this ending, but nothing's going to change from here, I feel, unless we have a disconnect. But the likelihood of that is gone as we have the final note come down. A 990k comes out from Nepogen, and that's going to solidify a 5-1 lead.
And I mean, MA pretty close to what he was gunning for originally. Getting a 990 with 151 miss is absolutely insane, and Antorex unfortunately could not catch up on the timing hell. So it's back to the drawing board for them. They're down 1-5. This is potentially their last pick, and it is going to be Rice 2.
Okay, I mean, we've seen this pick in yesterday's match as well with Nepogen, so makes sense that they would want to throw this one out. Maybe trying to go for something that's a little left field, but also kind of more taxing because, again, we're going into dangerous territory with how fast these jump stream picks are getting. This at 300 BPM. This is pretty much the speed of MWC Grand Finals' jump stream pick, or Rice 2 pick from last year, albeit this is like really short. This is only 2 minutes in length, so as much as it is incredibly fast, it's also really, really easy to just choke on this with how little time you have to be able to sell yourself in. They call me are going to be coming back in for this pick alone, and Nepogen likely going to be staying in for this one, trying to continue upon their adrenaline to try and secure that podium placement, because at this point, this is the final match before we reach the finale of this tournament, where they're going to have to face the likes of Unicorn Butterfly, Pavin, and Konkawa in the losers bracket, or the losers finals, depending on whoever manages to win out this one.
Yeah, and I've got to say, this one's quite interesting. I mean, I feel like this is one of Nepogen's better maps in terms of accuracy on the map pool, so I was surprised that they did go for this, as Nepogen did have a 996 with a 100 and a 50. Quite insane if you think about it. But Mako Mahor is going to try their best to beat out Neptune. Hopefully with some luck, but mostly with skill is what's really needed on a map like this. Yeah, it's not long like you said, but when you're jump streaming 300 BPM, that is very much so a physical test no matter how long you're doing it for. And right now, Neptune is completely acing it.
Yeah, acing it, and it's pretty much going over that ace as well, as Maycolmir is going to find a miss of their own, going through that transitional moment into this section where you had about 5 seconds to breathe, and now it's gone altogether. 7,000 points of advantage. Neptune going into the chorus. This is where things are amplified, because these jump streams do not stop whatsoever. No breaks are even available in this map for either side to take, as Neptune is actually going to find a miss of their own, and it's a really rough run as well.
Yeah, pretty rough, all things considered. I think Not Even Close is going to have the lead as Neptune tries to get back up to the combo cap. But the big thing here is the accuracy. And Neptune has been having better accuracy than Mako Mahor. So as you get back up to the combo cap on the side of Neptune, you will see that lead start to go back for Team Red.
Yeah, exactly. It's really just the matter of the subtle nuances when it comes to accuracy that really separate these two, because we kind of take notice that Maycolmir is taking a lot of perfects going into this one. I mean, these patterns, by default, really hard to be able to act well and be able to get real, proper accuracy on this one, as it's literally just not even down to the FC anymore or how much combo you can have, because they're both virtually tied. If it had not been for these axes, it's literally just going to be another point for Neptune at this point. There's literally no time left, 4,000. And it's really just because Maycolmir slightly gave out with these misjudgments at the end. 83 perfects. Are you kidding me?
How are we DDPing a MWC Grand Finals level jump stream map? And
oh my god, dude.
As T1 gets to match point, Antrix pleads for mercy with Team Red. Brother, we need the money, please. Please. As Neptune fights back. No guilt trip needed. This is T1's silver bullet. They have the pick to close it out. Where do they go?
Nap, why are you smiling, bro? Oh my god, bro. I mean, at least for 4th to 6th places, they're gonna get money either way, but it's like, oh my god. Oh my god, I have no words anymore. T1 is next in line of pick. They have the luxury of so many maps to see at this point. They're going Ellen free, not even dwelling into the hybrid category at all this week. Oh my days.
Yeah, I mean, very, very different story from last match yesterday, where, you know, they're picking around the table essentially. No, this one they only want noodles, and this pick is going to clear out the LN pool. So if Team Blue is to survive this, they don't have to worry about another LN pick from T1 later on. And so Olusun is going to be the one to get in here. Not surprising considering how much they were talking about how they had liked this map from yesterday. And Antrix yet again, so yet another matchup where I do think things can be pretty close, but this one is like very, very release oriented. So it's not like Wonderful Paradise in the sense that, you know, the patterns are straightforward in quotes. This one you are on your toes for essentially the entire 3 minutes because of how things shift and change in terms of how the releases or the staggers, the graces are represented.
Exactly. It's pretty much the entire gimmick with this one, where it's the least physical map arguably out of everything else. Not only is it like short, like actually saying 3 minutes is even short is actually kind of underselling it, to be honest, but we roll anyways. This map being pretty much around the middle of the length when it comes to these maps alone. The main difficulty that comes with it is how discomforting these patterns can be to even act well. And we've seen from yesterday's match that it was actually no, it wasn't in yesterday's match. Okay, I'm dumb. Sorry. We'll have to see how it goes. There's no information on this one.
Yeah, Super Duper Speed had banded out, and oh, that is not how you want to start.
Oh
Please tell me that's
no.
not real. Please tell me that's Bancho.
Please tell me we're on hallucinogens. If not, I'm actually gonna freaking lose it. Because Anarix was literally pleading for mercy right there because their keyboard is literally giving out as much as their soul is unwavering. It's super close right now, and so far, both these players are working their way with these Ellen Graces, these Ellen Flamtadat. It just keeps going faster. It just it just keeps going quicker. It just keeps speeding up, and now it's just down to staggered releases to change difficulty, which Enerix at least managed to recover a little bit as we go into the first drop finally. This is
Yeah,
it. This is the make or break moment for Not Even Close. They have to do this now.
and here we go into pretty much what the most difficult parts of the maps will look like, where it's very dense, it's very fast, the releases are hellish,
Oh.
and Hello Sun cannot hang with some of them as the lead is given back over to Antrix. Yeah, we were mourning the loss of the combo at the start for Antrix, but that is where you take the least damage in terms of points to your score. So Antrix having the FC means a lot, as Hellusun has about 2 misses to his name to Antrix's basically half miss.
Yeah, impressive the fact that Hello Sun's even the one that's actually faulting here on this map alone, because I would have expected this one to be one of the comfort picks of T1, but it's just the raw technicality as I was referring to. That's basically gonna be the death of like some players. It's basically just a reality check on that. Not every single map in this pool is gonna be immensely physical to a point where you can just win off of that factor alone. No, you have to worry about your control, how well you can even hit or even let go of these long notes at that on a song that sounds so chill. But the way that Luis literally represents this is like, it literally feels like this song came from a spawn of Satan. Like, that's just how dense this map is, bro.
Yeah, seeing the evolution of like having a triple release stagger into quad release stagger into triple grace start and quad grace stagger is absolutely insane. But here we go again, redux of that first half where Hello Sun had missed. If they're able to clean it up and Antrix is able to find a couple misses, maybe things can change. But for now, I think Not Even Close has the most commanding lead that they've had throughout this entire set.
Exactly, and they cannot simply mess this up right now because this is pretty much the best opportunity that they've had since the start of the match, where they literally had really close points back to back on both Rise 4 and Ellen 4 that they are going to be taking it. The difficulty is pretty much gone. You cannot go wrong with this outro whatsoever. You're going into literal free start difficulty range of LN coordination. Anarix has basically done it. They've secured their turret live for a little bit longer. However, this is going to be a really uphill mountain to climb because it's really just down to being able to force a tiebreaker now, and you have 4 maps to force it. You have 4 maps to win before you can make it to the tiebreaker, and now it's like Hello Sun's blaming this, bro. At this point, both players are literally anchored down by major problems. Hello Sun with his left hand and Anarix with his keyboard. But they still make it out either way, albeit Anarix is in the front center of this pick alone, as it's going to be their pick to make next. It's going to be a really important one at that as well.
Yeah, I mean, they're still in the hot seat. Really funny to see Hello Sun and Neptune both talk about their left hand and Atrix having keyboard issues. I feel like the only person that's been just like chilling throughout this entire set has been Mako Mahor, where, you know, they just get in, try to do their job the best they can, and then get out, right? So, Team
It's
Blue up next pick.
I swear McColmier is literally just like that one scene from Sailor Moon where it's like the guy literally like, I don't know, is like tanked for everything, and then he just like disappears right after. I haven't even seen it. I just seen the meme.
Yeah.
Twice 8? What?
Oh.
Okay, we're getting ballsy here. All right, sure. Okay.
I will say, like, Antrix saying end this is a bit of like a chin stroker, right? Where it's like, what do you mean end this? You mean end this because you're about to make the greatest comeback of all time, right? Not that you're essentially giving up and picking the boss Rice pick against Neptune.
Like, also, I do not even have a single idea. It's either that Not Even Close is purposely, like, looking to kamikaze out of this tournament with a bit of a bang on Rise 8, or they're using this to try and bank on the physicality of Neptune just giving out, because we've seen that Neptune have managed to hold on to a pretty good score in this, but at the same time, this map is literally evil. This map's evil.
This map is evil,
Yeah.
but I mean, you picked it, so I think by like mathematical law of transitional properties or whatever, yeah, I think you're evil. Yeah.
Dude, I literally feel like a third world leader in this tournament alone, and it's just because I'm the one that's hosting it, and I have literally all the control over these map pools, so I get to be as evil as I want. Albeit I try to make these picks interesting just because I feel like tournaments could definitely benefit from these a little more. As we go into the intro, gonna be some fairly straightforward bursts. If you are a little acquainted with Hina or Terrador's maps overall, you know that they are a very role mapper in terms of how they approach a lot of these really technical bursts, and it seems like, from what it looks like, both these players are no strangers to it. Neptune and Antrix working their way into the first drop. Gonna be relatively simple for the time being. However, it does pick up really quick after this at 6.5 minutes of length.
Yeah, Neptune's still holding strong, but Antrix losing a little bit of steam. There's still a lot more map left to go, so Neptune has faltered just a little bit, but with the accuracies being as close as they are, even with Neptune missing, it does seem like Antrix trading out is going to give over the lead right back to T1, and a bit of a rest right here, but soon we'll go right back into the thick of it as T1 find themselves with a big lead into this like dubsteppy wubby section.
Yeah, some of the more dubcore oriented sections that we usually see in a variety of these 200 step oriented songs that Kamele pretty much invented like years ago. Pretty much makes sense that a lot of players are going to be finding a lot of insecure chokes coming out of this one, as Neptune is still reigning superior over the scoreline, and is going to be further contemplated as well by that next miss coming from Antrix as well, not looking to be able to consolidate the score for a little longer, as it's going to be in the favor of her Neptune for quite a while, and this is only past the first quarter of the map. There is still so much that this map alone has to offer. Antrix is literally on the verge of basically just giving out right now. This next burst is unfriendly, and this map just does not let up on gas either. It's devastating to even think about it.
It is. I mean, at this point, the lead is 9,000 points and only climbing since we have started this map. Things are looking bleak for Not Even Close. Antrix maybe was not joking around when he said, let's get this over with, as we get into one of these sections that starts to speed up eventually, and so you're gonna have to jack faster and faster, as Neptune holding on really tightly, I think has gotten their accuracy up to almost a 99.8 from I think at the lowest point was a 99.6. Antrix failing yet again, and well, Epic Man 2, the door is closing further and further on this map and on the match.
Exactly, the door is pretty much on the verge of closing. But then again, we're only like really halfway through this map alone. This one gonna be the longest pick in the entire map pool, which is, yeah, you're welcome for that. First of all, it's like the fact that we literally have we've literally had so many points on this pick alone, which literally resulted in being a physicality test where it's like you really see a difference between who's even able to tag in a lot of these patterns alone. A lot of these misses just literally come out so easily from even the best in the world that it literally just separates even the best from the greatest at this point. Like, it's just evil. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when you get to this like difficulty of Rice, you're right, this is kind of like the final boss in terms of skill level strainers where you kind of sieve out the top like 0.00001% from the top 0.001%, right? And obviously Neptune and Antrix are essentially like, very close in skill, very good players. I mean, they represent their teams from MWC. They're staples on their teams, and on any given day they can blow out pretty much almost every other player that plays this game out of the water. It's just when you look at this kind of map and you look at the discrepancy in how both of these guys are playing it, it becomes very clear, right? Neptune is the one that has the skill to make it through to the grand finals and grant T1 their ticket in to potentially winning this entire tournament.
Precisely, and that's pretty much the one thing that they're looking for right now. I know for a fact that T1 came into this tournament looking entirely determined to be able to try and chase the placement of the podium, because there's a reason they got seed 1 out of literally so many other teams that have really tried putting their heart into performance. And we're literally seeing that right now. 24,000 is separating these two. Antrix has taken enough misses that this may as well be over. The likelihood of Neptune being able to just lose on this pick alone is literally gone as we go into this final drop. The literal mini jack, all of these dumpers, it just continues raining down and does not give up no matter what. How are you even holding this combo at this point? What?
Yeah, it's definitely a sight to see. Neptune has turned this lead into 30,000 as the map closes out, so unless stop hitting their keyboard, it does seem like it is going to be yet another pretty dominant T1 win despite missing at the end. Neptune yet again in the grand finals of another tournament, looking to add to their very, very big trophy case as they beat out Not Even Close.
Absolutely. As unfortunate as this loss may be for Not Even Close, they've made it far enough to be able to consider themselves 4th place in such a massive tournament as this. The fact that Not Even Close managed to at least bleed 2 points from T1 at least shows that at points even the greatest can bleed, even gods can bleed, as well as T1 is going to be the last team to make it into grand finals, righting the wrongs of their semifinals upset performance. And now they will be going into the grand finals, is losers finals, to face off against Unicorn Butterfly, Pavan and Konkalwe for the last time. They have literally faced multiple times, especially with Neptune and Pavan having literally fought for the championship in the LN4 tournament, as well as, maybe potentially many other tournaments as well. So the fact that our 3 teams that are going into grand finals for this tournament are T1, Unicorn Butterfly, and also Salmon Noodle, finally, who rests at the top, waiting for a challenger, a real challenge that is going to be insane. I genuinely have no words for these absolute gauntlet of players. It's insane.
Yeah, I mean, it just seems like a reunion of MWC players, all representing their respective countries. It's at that level. So congratulations to T1 for making it into grand finals, and of course congratulations to Not Even Close for making this far. Getting 4th place is a big deal. They did super great and were able to take off 2 points from T1, which is more than super duper speed from yesterday, so they should hold their heads up very high. And so there's only one thing left for this weekend, and that's going to be the Map Pool Showcase. Epic Man 2, you're the host. When's it gonna be?
Oh, they're playing tiebreaker. I mean, honestly, sure, let's just go for it. It's a lost match of the weekend anyways.
Yeah. I mean, we didn't get to see TV. We might
Wait, they're playing Rice Free. What?
Wait a second. We'll get to see them play Rise 3 while you tell us about the the Maple Showcase.
Oh yeah. Honestly, it's really funny how we're literally having a showcase specifically for Shimbazu. Like, honestly, sure, that may as well be the reason why I even put this map in the map pool to begin with.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fun map. There's a reason why T1 had protected it yesterday against Super Duper Speed. But I think the Grand Finals showcase is going to be at Monday. What UTC?
Okay, so there's been plans for Monday 20 UTC, so I'm basically in the process of finalizing the Grand Finals pool, but we're pretty much done with like the map pool. We're basically just trying to get like replays and all that done, but we will let you all know on what the schedule is. But for now, it pretty much is just gonna be like 20 UTC Monday from what the looks of it. But it's gonna be a bit of a crazy showcase. We have a lot of maps to feature in that one, and I can't even spoil anything. The map pool is just like insane.
I mean, this one has been pretty fun to watch through. There have been like a lot of oldies, a lot of new ones, some sleeper picks, ones that we've seen before in tournaments. I'm gonna assume that it's probably the same case for this Grand Finals, but more grand, so to speak.
Yeah, precisely. I mean, it is the Grand Finals pool after all, so it's only really common sense that we try to end it off and, you know, we try to, like, tie all of the loose ends of the shoe that is left to really try and close off for this tournament, because, again, this has been a wild tournament from start to finish, like, especially for this one being my first ever tournament as all, like, hosted in my 7 years of being in Osumania as whole. It's like, it literally, like, makes me feel insane about myself. I do not even know how this is even a thing, like, when I host a tournament for once in my life. It's just insane to even put into words.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy to think about how far we've come since the initial qualification stage. Now we're only down to 3 teams, and well, we all know the players from the 3 teams. I can't wait to see how things shake up, especially like that losers Grand Finals match of Unicorn Butterfly versus T1, and how it's essentially just shades of most of the past MWCs where we've had USA MWC versus Thailand MWC. Absolutely crazy.
Bro, I really cannot wait for that one. We just have like a lot of teams that are just really gonna try and duke it out for the last time in this tournament, because this is all we have left. We literally have only one map pool for everyone to duke it out on, and we're gonna reach insurmountable heights of difficulty in that one as well. One that most tournaments do not even dare to even tread upon, because I feel like the last time we even had that in like a global tournament, whereas like literally all of them is like, actually I don't know, like I swear the last time we even had tournaments like this was literally Speed of Light 3, and that was like literally 3 years ago. Yeah,
pretty much Speed of Light 3 is like the only one I can really think of where they kind of dare to push beyond the limits in terms of physicality.
Yeah, and at this point we're literally like pretty much hosting Speed of Light 4 at this point, with like how insane this map pool is again. Albeit the Ellen pool is obviously a lot harder now that you know times have changed. We had Ellen 4 that showed pretty much how hard Ellen as a whole could be. We had the Korean Extraterrestrials tournament, which literally pushed to literally 3 rounds above MWC's Grand Finals, as we have a 9-9 TK coming out from NeptGen. Perhaps this was why they really wanted to play this pick in a match, but I can at least make sense of that now. I can really see the vision.
Yeah, that's like a 16-1 or something in terms of ratio. That would have been like on a clean FC, no bad judgments, 997, I believe. That's scary, very, very scary. I mean, we're at this level of 275 BPM jump stream for 4 minutes, and you're showing us that you're able to 997 still in the finals. Epic Man 2, I know you have the showcase tomorrow. You might need to like upgrade everything by 0.05 just really quickly.
Oh yeah, don't worry. We've already got it covered. we already know what we're in for next week. We have some pretty insane picks, but obviously I cannot be the one to tell you what exactly they will be. You're gonna have to wait till another 24 hours to actually see what it is. I do apologize for those affected, but in not my fault. I just thought it'd be cool to at least, you know, have a breathing time. At least breathe a bit before we see what exactly is going to end off this turn, because we have quite some stuff to show, I want to say. I just cannot, like, keep expressing this enough. It's just literally how it is for me.
Yeah, well, that is going to be it for us, at least in terms of matches for the finals this weekend for the Abstraction Cup. Hope you guys enjoyed. Of course, catch the showcase. Be on lookout for when that is going to be, because we'll have an announcement for that. And I will let Epic Man 2 close this out.
Absolutely. So, yeah, once again, thank you all so much for tuning into the final match of the finals weekend. We hope to see you all tomorrow for the final ever showcase of Abstraction Cup. This has been Epic Man 2, joined by Dynascape. We'll catch you all in the next episode. Be there or be square, and thank you all so much for everything. See ya!